step, I'm going to be looking at the layers palette and how we can do and adjust layer mask. So I accidentally, oops, there are my layers. So you do want to make sure that your layers are open. They are something that you always want to have available at any point. When you're working, it doesn't matter whether you're working on web design or animation or photography or digital paint, your layers are a critical tool that you'll use all the time. So make sure that is open. We are going to be working in our layer mask to help morph this back in so it looks more natural, because I have this curves adjustment layer where he looks a little cross-processed, so he has his highlights are kind of reddish and his shadows are a little green-blue, so that's called cross-processing look or split tone in the digital world. So in the film world we would have done this using cross-process. And that's what it would be called. And then if we're working in digital, we refer to this as a split tone. So I have this curves just clipped to this background copy. So you can see me turning it on and off, but I don't love how I've got this really hard line running along the top. So I'm going to come into my background copy mask. So notice there is a little frame that runs around the mask, not around the image. So if I were to do this right now, it would be affecting the pixels in this layer, and I don't want to do that because that is a destructive edit. So I'm going to make sure that I have my layer mask activated. I can see that in my properties panel. That's telling me, yes, in fact, you have the layer mask, not the image. Notice the difference in that panel. It gives you your little icon, and I can go and begin to work on this. We are going to be focusing on, and I'm going to move my image over here. We are going to be working with the paint tool, and we need to make sure that we are working with black and white. So black is going to mask things out, and white is going to reveal. So you'll know from his little icon here, the mask icon, that he's in white and the background is in black. So we're not seeing the background of this particular layer. Turn that one on and off to demonstrate. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to select the paintbrush tool. I'm going to click up here on my control panel and choose this nice little brush palette icon. Right now I'm in a 200 pixel brush, so a pretty big brush, and I'm going to bring it down to 0 hardness. So it's going to have a very feathered edge to kind of blend together. I'm going to start off with my opacity up to 100% that I paint on black. So you can see right now, because it's so feathered, I'm going to zoom in closer so you can see. So I might start off with this with a really soft, big brush to kind of soften that edge so it blends it together a little bit nicer. But I don't love that it is eating into my image, so I'm actually going to reduce the size of my brush by hitting the left bracket key. The right bracket makes it bigger, and those should be right under your delete button on the top right hand corner of your keyboard. So the bracket key, I'm going to make that smaller. Left bracket makes it smaller, so I'm going to make the brush smaller, and that works in any brush tool. So I'm just going to go around here and just kind of click around. And what I'm doing is I'm not deleting any pixels, I am modifying, I'm just masking out the pixels that exist there. So just kind of cleaning this up a little bit, softening those edges. Now, where I think that helped a lot, I still see kind of a big transition from his natural color to the split tone. So I want to make that look even more seamless of a transition. So I'm going to change my opacity down to about 50%. And then I'm just going to run along the edge here a little bit more and see if I can soften that. Now, it's still a little harsher than what I would want. So, and certainly the more I click, if I click once, that's 50%. If I click twice, that's really the equivalent of doing 100%. So it's still not quite as soft as I would like. So I'm going to bring that down to about 21% and see if I can soften those edges. Perfect. So looking good, looking a little bit more seamless. And if you had a pressure sensitive brush, like on a Wacom tablet, this would even be better. Now, I think I went a little too heavy on his ear, and I would like to paint that back. So I'm going to come down to my palette, and you'll notice that my foreground color is black and my white color, my background color is white. So I could hit this little switch foreground and background, this little double arrow corner. I could switch that. Or you can also tap X on your keyboard. That switches your foreground and background color. But I'm going to go ahead and start painting back. And I might go back up because it's going to hold the same settings. I might go back up to 100% in certain areas that I feel like I went a little too far. Or used too big of a brush, I think the problem was. So I'm just going to put some of that pink back in, that split tone pink. That looks kind of fun. And then I'm going to start going down and kind of reversing this, go to 50%, maybe paint it back 50% here and there. And I think that's looking pretty good. So you can do this with multiple layers, and certainly this is a really simple project. But it could be combining 3 different animals together, and this is how you would combine their different textures of fur and skin and colors and whatnot together to make this look pretty seamless and surreal, super real, however you want to say. But I hope this helps. Have fun with layer masks. They're a keystone of Photoshop. So learn layers and layer masks really, really well.